You know how they say the day your child is born is the best day of your life? That was true for me. I remember holding her for the first time, tiny fingers, red cheeks, eyes shut tight like the world was too much to handle. And I swore, right there in that sterile hospital room with my wife asleep and nurses coming in and out, that I would protect her with everything I had. I gave her my name, my heart, my whole goddamn life. We painted her room yellow before she was born because we didn't want to know the gender. Let it be a surprise, my wife said. So it was yellow, sunshine bright, full of hope. I built her crib with my own hands. Never been much of a carpenter, but I got the damn thing together. Spent 2 hours making sure it didn't wobble. She used to fall asleep on my chest. That's what I think about now when I can't sleep. Her tiny body, breathing softly, that baby smell. Like milk and soap and something new. I used to sing to her. Not well, but soft and low. Songs my old man used to hum when I was little. Stuff I didn't think I'd ever remember. Every time she smiled, I felt like I'd done one thing right in this screwed up world. Just one thing. I was never afraid of hard work. I'd pull double shifts, wear my fingers down, ruin my knees, didn't matter. As long as she was okay. As long as she had what she needed. My friends used to laugh, say I'd gone soft. Maybe I did. Maybe she made me soft. I didn't care. She was my girl. My princess. And now I don't know what the hell she is. It didn't fall apart overnight. That's the part people don't talk about. The slow erosion. We used to be fire. Passion, laughter, sex that felt like something out of a movie. Not just the physical stuff, either, the late-night talks, the stupid inside jokes, the way she used to touch my arm in the kitchen when I walked by. Like she couldn't help it. But then life happened. Work stress. Bills. Diapers. Her body changed after the baby, she hated it. I didn't. I told her that 1,000 times. But she pulled away. At first I thought it was postpartum. Then just exhaustion. Then maybe I was doing something wrong. I tried harder, more date nights, gifts, compliments. I went to therapy alone for a while because she said she didn't believe in that stuff. She stopped laughing at my jokes. Stopped reaching for me in bed. And I blamed myself. Hell, that's what we're trained to do, right? Be the fixer. The glue. The man. I figured I wasn't enough. So I kept pushing. Working more. Providing more. And the distance kept growing. I should have known. I should have seen it. But when you love someone, you write off the warning signs as weather. Just a storm. It'll pass. I was wrong. So goddamn wrong. It started like every other argument. Something stupid. Something about laundry. Or maybe the thermostat. I can't even remember anymore. That's the thing with marriages like mine, the fights are never really about the thing you're yelling about. She was in the doorway, arms crossed. Her mouth sharp. Eyes cold. And I was tired. I'd just gotten home from a 10-hour shift. My back ached, my boots were still on, and I was starving. But she came at me like I was the enemy. And I snapped. I said something, I don't even remember what, something about how I felt invisible in my own damn house. How I was killing myself for this family and getting nothing back but silence and sarcasm. She laughed. Not a funny laugh. A cruel one. And then she said it. Just like that. She's not even yours. Like it was a trump card. Like it was the final bullet she'd been saving for just the right moment. And I swear to God, the world stopped. My ears rang. My knees buckled. I said, "What?" But she didn't repeat it. Just stood there. Jaw tight. Eyes daring me to fall apart. I did. Not on the outside, not yet. I think I just stared at her. For a full minute. Maybe more. I don't even remember what happened after. If she walked away, or if I did. All I know is that nothing in my life has ever sounded louder than those 4 words. She's not even yours. You ever screamed so loud inside your own head that your ears go numb? That's what the next few days felt like. I didn't sleep. Maybe an hour here and there, if you could call it that. Just laid there, eyes open, staring at the ceiling like it held answers. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, my daughter. Laughing, running into my arms after school, calling me, Daddy, with that crooked little grin. The one she got after she lost her front teeth and they grew back a little uneven. And then I'd hear it again. She's not even yours. I started watching her differently. Like a stranger. Not out of hate, God, no, but confusion. Desperation. Looking for signs. Did she look like me? Maybe the nose. Maybe not. Maybe I'd made that up. Did she have my eyes? My smile? My temper? I couldn't tell anymore. And every time she said, "Love you, Dad," I flinched. I flinched like a coward. I avoided her. Skipped dinner. Stayed in the garage pretending to fix shit that wasn't broken. My wife, acted like it never happened. Like she hadn't dropped a bomb and walked away. She made coffee. Watched her shows. Laughed on the phone with friends. And I walked around like a ghost. Torn between wanting to destroy everything she touched and crawling into my daughter's room to hold her like I used to. But I didn't do either. I just existed. And that was worse than death. It's a question that eats you alive, do I ask? Do I test? Every day I stared at her, my girl, wondering if I had the right to know. Or if knowing would destroy what little I had left. One night I stood outside her room, cheek pressed against the doorframe, just listening. She was on the phone, giggling. Talking about some boy from school. Saying she hoped he liked her hair that day. And it hit me like a punch in the gut. She's still a kid. My kid. Still thinks I hung the moon. If I go through with it, the DNA test, and it comes back the way I'm afraid it will, what then? Do I sit her down and tell her that the man who tucked her in every night, who taught her to ride a bike, who cried like a damn fool at her kindergarten graduation, isn't her real father? What kind of man does that to a child? But what kind of man lives a lie? I thought about it every second. Carried that swab test in my truck for a week. One of those home kits you can pick up at the pharmacy. I'd hold it in my hand during my lunch break. Just stare at it. Like it was a loaded gun. I never used it. Not yet. And maybe that's cowardice. Or maybe it's love. I don't even know anymore. I just know that every day I don't know the truth, I feel like I'm rotting from the inside out. But the truth might kill something I can never get back. I don't recognize myself anymore. There's this mirror in our bathroom, same one we've had for years. I used to shave in front of it, talk to my daughter while she brushed her teeth, watch my wife do her makeup when we still touched each other without flinching. Now I stand there and stare into the face of a man I can't name. Eyes sunken. Jaw tight. Skin pale like I've been underground too long. I used to be strong. Steady. I wasn't perfect, but I was there. I showed up. I did the work. Now I snap at the dog for barking. Forget my own appointments. Leave dishes in the sink because I just can't bring myself to give a damn. I hate her, my wife, in ways I didn't know I was capable of. Not just for cheating. Not even for lying. But for taking away the one thing that made my life make sense. And then I hate myself for still remembering what her laugh sounded like when she really laughed, not that fake little hum she does now. I miss her, and I want to bury her in silence at the same time. I catch myself looking at old photos like they're crime scenes. Us at the beach. Her on my shoulders, sand between her toes, both of them smiling. Me, the proud fool. The man in those pictures, he's dead now. And what's left is just hollow. A shell of someone who loved too hard and trusted too much. You don't stop loving them. That's the cruel part. Even after the truth cracks your ribs open and empties your chest, the love stays. Like a damn echo. I still make her lunch for school some mornings. Not because I have to, because I always did. Because she likes it when I cut the crusts off and leave a stupid little note inside. Good luck on your quiz. Proud of you. Love you? 3 words I used to say without thinking. Now I choke on them. Not because they're a lie, but because they're too true. How can love be this real when the blood isn't? I used to believe that being a father was sacred. That it was tied to something primal, DNA, name, legacy. But now I know better. Fatherhood isn't in the chromosomes. It's in the nights you stay up with a sick kid. It's in the panic when they fall off their bike. It's in the 1,000 invisible moments no one claps for. And yet, it still matters. Biology. It changes something. Even if you don't want it to. Even if you fight it tooth and nail. Because every time I look at her now, there's a tiny flicker of he might have been there. He might have passed down that laugh. That chin. That stubborn streak. And I hate that. I hate that some ghost of a man I've never met now lives in the girl I called mine. She's still my daughter. But I don't know who I am to her anymore. I started dreaming about him. The other man. The one she never named. No face. No voice. Just a presence. A shadow at the edge of every memory I thought was mine. When I see pictures of her first birthday, I wonder, was he around then? Did he know? Did he laugh to himself, watching me raise a child that carried his blood? I imagine him smug. Arrogant. The kind of guy who walks away from consequences, knowing someone else will carry them. But maybe that's just easier than the truth. Maybe he didn't know either. Maybe it was a one-night mistake she never meant to turn into a secret. Or maybe he did know, and kept quiet like her. Let me live in the dark because it was more convenient that way. The worst part? There's a chance he's better than me. Younger. Smarter. Richer. A better man. And if she ever finds out, if my daughter ever learns the truth, what if she goes looking for him? What if she finds him, and he's everything I'm not? What if I lose her, not just emotionally, but completely? I can't stop thinking about it. It eats me alive. He's everywhere now. In her laugh. In the tilt of her head. In the way she questions everything, just like her mother. I never hated a man I've never met so much in my life. Because he took something from me. And I didn't even know it was missing until it was too late. We haven't spoken about it since. Not once. My wife walks around like it never happened, like she didn't nuke our marriage in 4 words. She folds laundry, pays bills, kisses me on the cheek when she leaves the house. And I play along. That's the part that guts me. I let it all slide into silence. We smile at the dinner table. Talk about school, groceries, weekend plans. I nod, pretend I'm still part of this life, but inside I'm screaming. Every word feels like a brick I'm laying to build this wall higher. She watches TV with our daughter like nothing's changed. And maybe for her, it hasn't. But for me? Every moment is a landmine. I keep thinking, maybe she didn't mean it. Maybe it was a lie. A cruel, desperate shot to hurt me. But I never asked. Because I'm terrified she'd say, yes. It's true. And once that happens, it becomes real in a way I can't ever undo. So I live with it. Pretend I'm still the dad. Still the man. Still the husband. Even when everything inside me is unraveling. Even when the silence feels heavier than truth. Because the lie lets me tuck my daughter in at night. The lie lets me hear her say, I love you, Dad, and pretend it still fits. And maybe that makes me a coward. Or maybe it makes me a father. I don't know anymore. All I know is that I can't lose her. Even if I was never really hers. There are these little moments, quiet, ordinary, that hit the hardest now. She'll fall asleep on the couch, homework scattered across her lap, earbuds in. I'll walk by, turn off the lamp, drape a blanket over her shoulders. She always stirs and mumbles, Thanks, Dad. And I freeze. Because that word, Dad, used to fill me with pride. Now it feels like a title I stole. I still go to her soccer games. Still cheer from the sidelines like a fool. But sometimes I watch the other dads, and I wonder if they ever doubt. If they ever feel like imposters in their own skin. I wonder if any of them are sitting on a secret so loud it drowns out the sound of their child's laughter. We used to have this Sunday ritual. Pancakes, cartoons, just the two of us. Last Sunday, she came downstairs, hair a mess, sat beside me and rested her head on my shoulder like she used to when she was little. And I almost lost it. Right there. Because I remembered her first steps. Her first bike ride. The night she broke her arm and cried in my arms all the way to the hospital. All of it. And now I carry this poison in my chest that tells me none of it was mine. But it was. Wasn't it? She didn't know the truth then. I didn't either. So weren't those moments real? Or were they all borrowed from a story that was never mine to live? Sometimes I think the silence between us, between my wife and me, is safer than the explosion that truth would bring. But that silence is getting louder. And it's starting to echo in my daughter's eyes. I almost told her. It was late. Just me and my daughter in the kitchen. She couldn't sleep, said she had a weird feeling that something was off in the house. She's perceptive like that. Always has been. We sat there, just the two of us, sharing leftover cake in the dark, like we used to after birthday parties. She smiled at me, messy hair, chocolate on her lip, and said, "You're quiet lately. Everything okay?" And my throat locked up. I looked at her, really looked, and I could see it. The trust. The love. The belief that I was her anchor, her home base, her compass in a world that doesn't always make sense. And for a split second, I almost shattered it. I opened my mouth. Took in a breath. But the words didn't come. Because what do you say? Sweetheart, your mother lied. I'm not your real dad. I've been raising you on a foundation of sand. No. I couldn't. She doesn't deserve to carry that weight. And I don't know what the truth would do to her, if it would break her heart, make her question her identity, rip away everything that makes her feel safe. So I swallowed it. Told her I was just tired. Gave her a kiss on the forehead and told her to go back to bed. And then I sat alone at the kitchen table for an hour, shaking like I just survived a car crash. Because that night I realized something. I'm not standing at the edge of this truth. I'm living on it. Every day I don't jump feels like a miracle. Every day I don't fall feels like a lie. She notices. I know she does. Kids always notice when the air changes, when laughter turns into tension, when the house grows quiet in all the wrong ways. She's been more careful around me lately. Hesitant. Like she's walking on eggshells but doesn't know why. I hate that. I hate that my silence is turning into walls she can feel but not name. We used to joke about everything. Dumb stuff. Memes, TV shows, inside jokes that made no sense to anyone else. Now she watches my face before she laughs, like she's checking to see if I'm still in the room emotionally. I try. God, I try. But there's this filter now. Between me and her. A fog that wasn't there before. And every time I look at her, my mind splits in two. One side says she's yours, always has been. The other whispers you're just a man who raised someone else's child. That second voice is winning more often than not. The hardest part is pretending nothing's wrong when everything is. I want to take her on a road trip like we used to. Just the two of us, windows down, her singing off-key to songs I hate. I want to remember what it felt like to just be her dad without thinking about blood or betrayal. But now even those memories feel infected. And I hate myself for letting this get between us. Because she hasn't changed. She's still the same goofy, brilliant, moody teenager who hugs me too hard when she needs something. It's me who's different. And I don't know how to find my way back to her. I've thought about forgiveness. What it means. What it costs. Whether I'm even capable of it anymore. Because forgiving her, my wife, isn't just about the betrayal. It's about time. She stole years from me. Years where I believed in something sacred. Years where I built my identity on the idea that I was her father, that we were a family, that love was enough. And now? Now I sit across from a woman who once lit my world on fire, and all I feel is ash. I see the way she looks at me when she thinks I'm not paying attention. There's no guilt in her eyes. Just calculation. Self-preservation. She's waiting for me to bury it. To man up. To move on. But I'm not sure I can. Some wounds don't bleed. They rot. Quietly. Slowly. Sometimes I wonder, did she ever love me at all? Or was I just the safe choice? The fallback plan? And worse, did she ever believe I deserved the truth? Or was lying easier? I still haven't asked for the test. Haven't demanded answers. Because once I open that door, there's no closing it. And part of me is still clinging to a world where I can pretend. Pretend she slipped. Pretend it was a lie said in anger. Pretend my life isn't built on betrayal. Forgiving her would mean pretending it didn't matter. And it does. It matters more than I can say. And yet, I still set the table. Still take out the trash. Still sit beside her at night while we pretend this house isn't haunted. Forgiveness? No. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I've written it 100 times in my head. A letter to her, my daughter. The girl I raised. The one who made me a father, whether by blood or by something bigger. I never put it on paper. Not yet. But the words are always there, pacing behind my teeth. It would start like this. I don't know how to tell you this. I don't know if I ever will. But I need to say it somewhere, even if you never hear it. I tell her how she saved me. How I used to be just a man who worked and slept and coasted through life, until she showed up and gave everything meaning. I tell her about the first time she called me Dad, and how it felt like I'd been handed the universe in one word. I tell her that no matter what DNA says, no matter what some lab might print out on a cold, clinical piece of paper, she is mine. Every scraped knee I kissed. Every bedtime story. Every time I stood in the freezing rain at her soccer games, cheering like a lunatic, all of that was real. And I'd apologize. Not for loving her. Never for that. But for the distance I let grow between us. For the weight I carried in silence instead of trusting her with the truth. I tell her the truth wasn't about her. It was about me. About the way betrayal hollowed me out. About how I let the pain mutate into shame. And I'd end it with this. You were the best thing I ever did. If you ever doubt who your father is, just close your eyes and remember every moment we've had together. That's me. That will always be me. But I haven't written it. Because once I do, once those words exist outside my head, I can't ever take them back. Some mornings, I wake up and for a few seconds I forget. Forget the words she said. Forget the truth I never confirmed but somehow already know. In those few seconds, I'm just a dad again. Just a man with a daughter he loves more than life. I hear the hum of the coffee machine, the creak of the hallway floor as she gets ready for school, and it feels like nothing ever broke. But then it all rushes back. Like a slow, cold wave that never stops coming. People talk about grief like it belongs to death. But I've learned there's another kind, the grief for a life you thought was yours. A role you thought you earned. A family you thought you built with your own hands. I still haven't asked for the test. Still haven't brought it up again with my wife. Still haven't written that letter for real. Because what's left of me is afraid. Afraid that if I chase the truth to the end, I'll lose her completely. Afraid that the only thing still holding this house together is my refusal to knock it all down. So I carry it. Day by day. Lie by lie. I watch her grow. I help with homework. I laugh when I can. I drive her to practice. I pay the bills. And I keep the truth locked in a part of me that no one will ever see. Because maybe being a father isn't about the blood. Maybe it's about the choice. And I choose her. Every day. Even if the rest of the world forgets who I am to her. I won't. I am her father. I will always be her father. Even if the truth says otherwise.